Hey there, you wonderful listeners. I have a question for you. Do you want to make a podcast? Well, Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place and for free. How can you beat that? It's called Spotify for Podcasters. And here is how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, there are Q&A and poll options available, and those are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I've discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it has made doing my shows like the Steam Machine Podcast, Yabs Pod, and the JRPG Report much, much easier to do. Like being able to just go on there, record them, upload it, boom, it's done. I don't have to pay for a site service to host or anything like that. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend that you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today. Hey everybody, and welcome to episode number 4 of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name's Dalton, and joining me, as always, is my hetero life mate.
This is Ryan.
That's Ryan. And this week, well, we might upset some people.
We had our first stinker. I think we upset ourselves with this game.
I don't disagree with that. I honestly went into this with really high expectations, not realizing that it was part 3 of a 3-part story that is really story heavy, and I think that ruined it for us.
It might have, like, even if I had known the storylines of part 1 and part 2 going into this game, I don't know.
And for those of you who are listening who didn't happen to glance at the title of the episode, although I don't know why you wouldn't, the game we are referencing is Corpse Party Blood Drive. And I have read nothing but good things about this series. Like, you go on Steam, this game has incredibly good reviews. I've seen reviews for the Vita versions. They're just really good. This game's like a cult hit in Japan, man, but there just wasn't there for me.
No, I didn't know anything about this game. I didn't read anything about this game. Everything I went into this game was a little bit you told me about it, and everything that you have read. And, oh, God.
I will give them this. The premise of the story, from what I got of it, because, full disclosure, neither of us beat it.
Yeah, no. I think I maybe made it 45% through the game, like, before I just threw my hands up. Like, can't do this.
From what I got of the story, it seemed interesting if I knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, the elements were there. Like, the horror aspect, the creepiness of the levels itself, like, it was there. It was brutal.
Yeah.
But, God, like, the gameplay itself and how slow driving the story point was to the game, just, it was brutal. Like,
Yeah, and I think the chibi art style didn't help much. You know, it was a little too cutesy for me to be a survival horror game, if that makes sense. I went in really thinking...
Yeah, some elements were really cool about that. Like, and then some elements were like you're saying, it was too cutesy. Like, well, the character as you're walking around looks all cute and shit, and then you come across that, like, crucified child up at the top of the stairs. Brutal, like...
Yeah, but I went in expecting the same look of the first game. So, like, when I went in, I was expecting 8-bit graphics to maybe even 16-bit graphics.
Yeah.
Old school RPG Maker style. And then when I saw the way it was, I was like, oh, this looks like a 3DS game, but I think it was a Vita game. But,
yeah, Vita.
Yeah. But while I was playing it, I spent most of my time watching this YouTuber named Horrible Reviews. and he covers a lot of like horror movies and different kinds. Like he's got a segment series that he does on Stephen King based movies.
Gotcha.
You know, off his novels and things. But I watched his series. He's got like 21 videos of this series of the most disturbed videos ever made. And he was not fucking lying. There's a few of them, like Der Engel. Oh man, I can't remember the name of it. But there was the one that was just basically just killing and all kinds of stuff throughout the entire episode.
Yeah.
Or episode, what am I talking about? But it was wild. This movie Martyrs, where it's like this girl, it's like one of those rape and revenge type stories, like Spit on Your Grave. Those old
Spit on Your Grave, Old Boy. Yeah,
the exploitation movies. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, it was like that. So they go on this crazy killing spree where this girl just starts breaking into people's houses and killing them with a shotgun.
Oh.
And then she ends up, I think, getting killed or something, and then her friend gets captured by a satanic cult and skinned alive at the end of it. Dude, it was wild.
Sounds like this game. Like,
yeah, exactly. This is why I had him on, because I figured it fit, you know.
It sounds exactly like this game, because literally, like, the whole dialogue of this game is like, how did this person get murdered? How did this person die? How did this person die? Literally every corpse you come across in the gameplay details on how they died. Like,
oh, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, coming across the corpses with their name tags, like who they were, how they died. So the story of this game, I'm not going to lie, I copied this straight from Wikipedia because I was being lazy about it, because this game did not grab me at all. No. So I do want to read this, though, because it kind of sets the precedent of what's going on in there. So Corpse Party Blood Drive is the direct sequel. Notice direct sequel to Corpse Party Book of Shadows, and is the first game featuring settings and characters rendered in 3D. The game was released for the Sony PlayStation Vita in Japan on July 2014 by 5PB, which I had never heard of those guys before. 5PB.
Neither have I.
The characters are depicted in a 3D chibi style. However, traditional CG artwork appears during cutscenes, illustrated by Sakuya Kamishiro. I am proud of myself. I think I did good on that name.
Yeah.
Continuing from the prologue included in the Book of Shadows, Naomi manages to save Ayumi and takes her to the hospital, and Shinozaki Estate and Tomb subsequently vanish without a trace. Ayumi has become severely ill for her misuse of the Book of Shadows' black magic, and in the hospital, a woman claiming to be a spiritual associate of Hinawa's visits Ayumi. The woman belongs to a Wiccan institute, an organization that worships spirits. Yada, yada, yada. Shit goes crazy from there.
Yeah.
Like, the girl, Ayumi, tries to go back into the Heavenly Host, which is this school that's, like, haunted from the first two games. And
it's not, like, haunted anymore. I think what they were leading to in the storyline, from what I may have taken it, was that, I guess in number 2, the Book of Shadows, or whatever they called it.
Yeah,
Book of Shadows. Opened up like a portal, and this school has now been like transported to like the nether realm. So this school doesn't sit on the plane of existence in Earth anymore. It sits in the plane of existence of the spirits now.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
And then like the whole premise of Blood Drive is to acquire the Book of Shadows and like undo everything that happened in Game 2.
Yeah, because anyone that died in that, everyone lost their memory of them.
Yeah.
Except for the people who were there. And that's like the girl is losing her mind trying to replace the memories of her friends to other people. And apparently, spoilers, this game winds up that... oh, man, what was the dude's name? Do you remember the guy's name?
No, not at all.
Right offhand? Okay,
that's how much of my attention span this game actually captured. Like,
all right, we'll call him Kenny. So Kenny and Ayumi end up doing what they need to do to save people, and everyone gets their memory back, but no one remembers Ayumi and Kenny, and they live happily ever after, I think. It could have just everyone dies. I don't know.
Yeah.
There is a point in this game, I think it's at the end of Chapter 6, that everyone dies.
Oh, let's see. I didn't even get that far. I made it to maybe Chapter 4.
I think I made it to like Chapter 5, and that was about it. And I got stuck on Chapter 3 for 2 days.
Yeah, I was on chapter 3 for probably about 2 days as well.
Like, I gave the fuck up and looked up a guide. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
See, I want that to be like a last resort for me when we do these games. Like, I want to try to do this game like thoroughly, like by the book. Like, let's not look up anything. Like, but
I couldn't help it, dude.
Touching on what I mentioned earlier about this game. This game was really fucking dark and really fucking brutal. Like,
yeah,
the details on the deaths of these characters and the detail in the artwork involving these corpses and their deaths was just like, it was almost too much. And then I don't know if you came across this doing some research about this game, but I did find this out. It is one of 38 titles of manga and anime banned in China for its level of like violence and depiction of violence.
That doesn't surprise me.
This game was rough. Like, trigger warning if you have like no sense of being able to handle like any murder porn or true crime shit.
Yeah, or torture or anything.
Yeah, this game will fucking trigger you.
Yeah, because I will say that as much as the little chibi characters didn't really creep me out, dude, the animation for the CGs, like with the little cutscene anime pictures, were really well drawn.
Yeah, they were.
And super gory. I'll give them that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, this is not a family-friendly podcast. Like, we cuss and everything, but like I told Ryan before we started, there was these two characters that were, I guess, part of this Wiccan tribe thing, or whatever the hell. Dude, they like absurdly cussed, like an absurd amount in every sentence. There had to be 2 or 3 curse words, and I was just like,
there was a lot of adult language besides the graphic gore and violence. Like, this game is not for kids.
No.
This game has to have a mature rating.
Oh, yeah, totally mature. Yeah. That's probably why it's not on didn't come out on 3DS, or maybe it did. I'm not really sure.
I don't know. Does Nintendo really release mature titles? I thought they focused more on being a family-friendly console as compared to like Sony and Xbox. Like,
you would think that, but they have some third-party titles, like Doom, I think, is on the Switch.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are some third parties that run that are mature. The Witcher 3's on Switch.
That's true.
And that game's totally mature.
Yeah.
But, I don't think you're ever going to get a game like Hatred on Switch, which is in my Steam library. We'll get to that eventually. It's basically you play a dude who's lost his mind and goes on a killing spree.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I honestly thought
why can't we get like a wholesome title, like the Untitled Goose Game or something? Like,
hey man, I've got a few games in there that are really like wait till we get to like Teddy Bear, or I think it's like Teddy the Bear Goes Kayaking or something like that. Like,
awesome.
Yeah, and then Letter Quest and like those types of games are fun.
Awesome.
So not everything is going to be these gore fests.
Yeah.
For being a survival horror game, I found this game to be really clunky, and honestly, like, when you're supposed to run and hide in cabinets, that shit doesn't work.
No, it doesn't, and it's like almost impossible to actually like survive this game, because as you are doing your playthrough and you're exploring the school or whatever, it's like one tracked. You literally have nothing to defend yourself. There's no actions to defend yourself. All you can do is run and hide, and it's almost impossible to outrun these spirits because they're so fast, and you burn through your stamina in like 10 steps.
Yeah, I think games that did this type of game better is like Outlast. If you've never played Outlast, that game's terrifying, but it's also first person, in full rendered 3D. Yeah. It's not quite like, this kind of like game. And then you got like Resident Evil. If I want to play, we should, like, I was like, the whole time I'm playing this, I was like, damn, I wish we'd have just gotten Resident Evil 7.
Yeah. Well, that's on our list now. Instead. So
yeah.
This game, I would say, would be as terrifying as, say, like Resident Evil if they like remastered this, or even remastered it for VR. Like, fuck that shit. Yeah. I would never be able to put on a VR headset for this game.
Yeah, dude, that scene of coming upon that kid on that
on
crucifix.
The crucifixion. Yeah, no, what? Like, Absolutely not.
That would be
as soon as I saw
insane.
that, I turned around and ran right back down the stairs, and I was like, absolutely not. There's probably no reason for me to be up there. Like, and there really wasn't. You went up there, you saw him, you picked up like one thing off the ground, and then that was it. There's nowhere else to go past that. That was the top of the stairs. Like,
yeah, and then if you try to go down them, they're like, oh, you hear really loud moaning and voices from down there. You probably shouldn't go down there.
You probably shouldn't go down this way. Oh, there's really loud and angry spirits in this room. You shouldn't go in there. Like,
yeah, you shouldn't open this door. If this door's locked, somebody's holding this door shut.
Where am I supposed to go? Like, in this game, there's no direction at all. It's just like, here you are.
Oh, what was fucked up is you go in the nurse's office, and there's like this big cabinet, and you go over to it, and it's like, this cabinet is full of bandages and medicine, but it looks like it was designed to never be opened because there's no handles. So it's like,
I remember
you can't get to it.
Yeah, I was like, well, damn, they don't want... The bandages were very few and far between.
Yes.
The icons, the little religious statues that cured you of your darkening were very few and far between. This
talismans.
This game was literally set up to kill you often and all the time.
Oh,
You have to save the game as often as you can because you're going to restart within like 5 minutes.
Yep, absolutely. And I did a bunch. And it was, oh man, it got grating. And like I was saying with the hiding in the cabinet thing, there were so many times that I was running from a spirit, and I would jump in a cabinet, and then I was supposed to watch the little pulsing colors to know when they run away. But then they would just keep pulsing red quicker and quicker and quicker. And then I'd sit there.
The eyeball right in the fucking middle of the screen.
No, I never got that. That was the weird thing. I never got that. I just got where it was flashing, and it never stopped. So eventually I just gave up and got out and got attacked anyway. So
every time I bolted and ducked into a locker or a cabinet or a closet or whatever it was that you were able to hide in, no matter how much I thought I was in the clear, watching the circles go from green to yellow to red to red to red, boom, eyeball pulls me out of the fucking locker every single time.
Brutal.
And it's like, yeah, you bastards. Like, why would you make a game this fucking difficult and this fucking creepy? Like, they're sadists. Like,
oh man, and this is nothing. I should fucking buy Agony and make you play Agony. That game makes you actually go to hell, legit.
Ugh.
It's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
So interesting fact about this game is actually ported to Android and iOS in 2017.
And so this is also a mobile game.
Yep. And in
it might
October,
play actually a little better on the mobile system since this was meant for the Vita. Like, instead of playing it on the PC or a console, it might be better as a handheld. Like,
yeah, I could see that. I read some reviews that said that the mobile port took care of the loading issues that the Vita version had and cleaned it up a little bit, but maneuvering around was a bit hard.
Oh, I bet.
And if running around gets any harder in this game, I don't want to fucking play it.
Yeah, no, like, you besides only having like 10 seconds of stamina before you have to stop and catch your breath from running around, you had to worry about like broken boards sticking out of the floor that will cause you damage, broken glass on the floor that will cause you damage, holes appearing underneath of you out of nowhere, and then like the weird flesh-colored things grabbing you with the fucking tentacles. Like, you literally couldn't take a step without sustaining some sort of damage.
Not to mention, in the first place, all of these people died in this place, and you escaped.
Yeah. Why
the fuck would you want to go back?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, nobody else remembers this place. Only you do. It's like, well, better luck next time, I guess. I'm just going to take this and fucking go with it. Like, here's my life now.
It's like Jurassic Park 3 when Grant's like, we cannot land on this island. No, do not do it.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Where was Grant? That's what this game needs. There needs to be a mod where Dr. Grant and Ian Malcolm come in and try to talk some goddamn sense into these kids.
They had one of those. It was one of the class reps, one of the older guys at the beginning of the game. And he was the main character's like, so me and you are going to go back to this school, right? And he grabs the magic stones and throws them out the fucking window. And he's like, no, we're not going. We're not going. And
that was Kenny. I couldn't remember his name.
What does she do? She fucking goes and grabs the stones and fucking teleports with some random stranger who has broken into her house twice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm just taking a shower, and now there's this dude in my bathroom. I guess I should go with him to the the haunted elementary school.
Yep. Oh, I'm just doing some homework in my bedroom, and oh my god, look who came in through my fucking window. Yeah, now me and you are best friends, and we're gonna go to this haunted school, and not only does that happen, but he disappears within the first 5 minutes of you being there.
Yeah,
Just
and then
up and gone, and he has the magic stones too, so there's no way you can leave. You are stuck there because he took the items that you need to leave.
I don't know if you got far enough to the point where when he called you on the cell phone, but he's just like, hey. And she's like, yeah, you fucking left me. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Or maybe you won't be. We'll find each other eventually. You know, we only have like forever or whatever. Whatever the fuck. And he's like,
oh my god,
try not to die. And I was like, holy shit, dude, this game is so bleak.
Yeah, this game was very morbid.
Totally. What else do I have about this? I really don't have much else about this game, dude. This game
sucked.
This game sucked.
Yeah, out of 1 out of 10 bloody corpses, this gets like a 2. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say a 2 as well, so we're in agreement because I can't give it lower than that because it had promise.
I can't. Yeah, like you're saying, I can't give it lower than that because the direction was there, but they didn't go in that direction. Not at all. Like,
no, dude, it was rough. It was rough.
Yeah.
So before we wake Steamy up, there's one other thing I'd like to cover real quick. And today, as we're recording this, was the EA conference.
Yeah.
And some interesting things coming.
yeah.
For PC, Apex Legends is coming to Steam, which that's not my big thing, but I know a lot of people love that game.
I've played it a little bit on the I've played it a little bit on the PS4. It's a free to play thing, but I think you can like buy like loot boxes and stuff like that.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean a battle royale game with microtransactions?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not a bad game. It's not my thing. I'm not really into like the battle royale style first person shooters, like because I die often.
Well, one of the notes that I had about this conference was so many battle royals.
It's the new thing, and I hate it. Like,
oh, me too, dude. Yeah, I've been on the fuck Fortnite for a long time, except when I realized that like the games I do like to enjoy playing online, I don't have to deal with screaming kids anymore. They're all playing fucking Fortnite, which is wonderful. So like, let the kids have Fortnite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Star Wars Squadrons, coming out,
awesome,
dude. Full VR support too.
Yeah.
I know my buddy Dustin is wigging out because he's got the flight stick and all of that, and it's all compatible. And he's like, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it looks really crisp. They showed some gameplay from it. You know, the single player missions. They said that you're gonna get to create a rebel and a forgive me for my not knowing much Star Wars, but a rebel and a alliance.
An Empire guy.
Empire, thank you.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. So you're gonna have one of each for the story mode.
Nah, fuck your rebels. Long live the Empire.
Long live the Empire. Hail Sith.
Not even the Sith. Just these guys want steady galactic rule.
Lost in Random looked pretty cool. It was like this game where you play a little girl, and it's like your companion is a dice, and you live in the world of random, and everything is decided by this one dice. But there's another dice, and it's your little fucking buddy who follows you around. He's got arms and legs.
That's cool.
It sounds like a really cool game.
Where everything is just like left to chance and random. There's probably so many different possibilities in this game that you could probably play it over and over again and never get the same thing twice. But.
And if my memory serves me right, this was the game. I want to say the art style reminded me of like Coraline and like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Ooh, interesting.
It looked really cool. I am thoroughly interested in it.
Yeah.
I will be keeping an eye on it. I'm sure it'll be coming out for like PC and consoles. Oh, I know one of the big announcements for Apex Legends 2 was that it's coming to Switch. Wood from I was watching Beat 'em Up stream, and he seemed pretty happy about that, but he's a Nintendo guy.
Yeah.
The big news that came out of the conference that made me happy, and I know you could not give a shit because you've never played any of them, but the guys who did the original Skate games popped in at the end and said that basically the fans have willed and commented this next Skate game into existence because for years and years and years, all the Skate fans have been hounding EA like, oh, that's nice. You have a new game out. Where the fuck is Skate 4?
Are you sure it was the fans willing it into existence, or the fact that they are remastering Tony Hawk 1 and 2 and working on a new Tony Hawk title?
That could be it too, and it also could be the success of Skater XL and Session, which are games that were trying to recreate what Skate had once done.
Yeah.
And people were still just clamoring. Like, I've seen comments on those skating games that are like, these are really good, but they're not Skate. And then these guys just pop on, and the dude was like, dude, I can't thank you people enough. He's basically like, thanks for giving me my job back type thing. Like,
I know a lot of people that love the Skate series, and it was one of the ones I never really got into. But I will say I'm super stoked for the remasters of Tony Hawk 1 and 2, because I played the shit out of those as a kid.
Those look really good.
Yeah.
Like graphically, I'm interested in those too. And you know, I like those old Tony Hawk games. After I played Skate, it kind of spoiled me on Skate being the game that I want to go to for like when I want to pretend to be a skateboarder.
Yeah.
But you can't beat that Tony Hawk arcade just classicness, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And the soundtrack was stellar as well. But...
Oh yeah, dude, that introduced me to so many new bands.
Yeah.
Like 3 Inches of Blood, the first time I ever heard them was on a Tony Hawk. I think even like Papa Roach was like the first time I really heard them was on Tony Hawk. I heard their song Blood Brothers before I ever heard Last Resort, but that was because of Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Fucking CKY. I still play 96 Quite Bitter Beings on my guitar to this day. You know, like that riff is iconic to me, and it's because of that game, in my opinion. It's gonna be great, dude. You know, the two Tony Hawk game, the remasters, Skate 4, whenever that comes out, or whatever they end up calling it. I don't even know if it's gonna be Skate 4.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to check out Session and Skater XL, dude, because you know I like skateboarding games. I fucked up my knee when I was younger, can't skateboard anymore.
Yeah.
And you saw firsthand that it has like fucked me up since then.
Yeah.
As far as knee troubles, but you know, I used to have a lot of fun with it, so it's cool to kind of go back and relive.
Yeah.
Doing that kind of thing. Well, all right, Steamy. Hey, buddy. I don't mean to wake you or anything, but you know, we kind of need a number. Thank you. And our number seems to be from Mr. Steamy this week, 80. Number 80. It's a very low number, but it doesn't really matter.
Only 2 digits, this one. Like, that's weird.
Only 2. And sir, that means that we are going to be playing The Outer Worlds.
Oh, interesting title.
The Outer Worlds.
It's a relatively newer game, isn't it? Like last 1 or 2 years or so?
Yes, it is, and it was put out by Obsidian, the people who did Fallout New Vegas.
Gotcha.
And this game holds true to that as far as I've played probably the first like hour of it like a year ago or so, or like right when it came out. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say a year because I don't even know if it's been out a year yet or not. But it's really, really cool. The whole concept of it, and it seems pretty fluid. I like the way that your decisions matter a little more than they do in like Fallout 4 and Skyrim. How they've kind of gotten to where the illusion of choice.
Yeah.
The Outer Worlds is a little better about that, and they're also not afraid to be like, oh, your stats are not high enough for this, fuck off. type things. You know?
Well, that's cool. So you actually have to like be specific with your stat choices, like your point allotments and everything like that.
Yes.
Cool.
Think of it akin to D&D in an essence.
Okay.
I guess.
Cool. I can do that.
Yeah, it should be real fun, man. It should be real fun. I will say space combat, but not really like in-ship space combat, but it's all, you know, futuristic type stuff. It's really cool.
It's like Fallout, but in space.
Fallout in space! Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. I could get down with this.
Yeah, man. All right, so to wrap things up here, I want to go ahead and plug our social media. You can find us on YouTube if you just go and search the Steam Machine Podcast. We should pop up there right at the top. You can find us wherever your podcasts are sold or wherever you get them. I haven't quite figured out how to say this part yet, so I'm just going to... in fact, I'm going to leave this in. Y'all can laugh at it. And then for the social media, facebook.com/the Steam Machine Podcast, or you can catch us on Twitter, which is twitter.com/Steam_podcast. If you have any questions, want to comment on how good or bad you think we're doing, you want to leave us a review, go to iTunes, search the Steam Machine Podcast. All the 5-star reviews help us raise up in the ranks of that whole spiel. So, anything else on your mind, my brother?
No, just disappointed that this was our first stinker. Like, hopefully, Outer Worlds is going to be so much better.
It came early, and I can promise you that Outer Worlds is going to be better.
Yeah. Cool.
Hold on one second. My phone is talking to me. I don't know what I saved a reminder for, but I saved a reminder for something in my pocket that's just going to go off fucking randomly.
Right.
Well, all right. If, we got our first stinker, as you said. It's early on, so hey, at least we got it out of the way early.
Yeah.
So now we know. In fact, actually, before we go, I want to cover that I did get a question from a listener who asked me to not bring up who they are because they may or may not live in my house. I was asked, what are we going to do once we come across a game that sucks? And I said, well, we're just going to tell them it sucks.
We're going to be honest. We're not going to sugarcoat it. Like, this game sucked. It really did.
And I'll put the caveat out there that I know there are a lot of people who've enjoyed this game. It just wasn't for us.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm sure this isn't going to be the first game that we say that about on this list. This list is massive, so we're bound to run into a handful of games that are just absolute bombs. Like,
I promise you at least a quarter of our episodes are going to be about terrible games. At least.
We can't wait.
All right, well, that about does it this week for the Steam Machine Podcast. As always, I'm Dalton, he's Ryan, and we will catch you later. Take it easy.